Um, exactly. For those who are new here, so the MONA project was launched in 2023 with the aim of promoting sustainable tourism in and around nature areas in Europe. This will be achieved by encouraging a modal shift, implementing route planning, and encouraging users to adopt a more sustainable behavior. As part of this project, we are running a capacity building program. So each year we plan 3 webinars and a physical meeting. The topics have been defined by project partners and the user needs assessment. So the assessment identifies the priorities, knowledge, and skill gaps of the target groups. So this brings us here today. This webinar will explore methods for improving accessibility and reducing negative environmental impacts through routing. While improving accessibility can positively influence visitor behavior, it must be consistent also with conservation objectives and sustainable tourism development. So shifting from car-dependent access to sustainable mobility alternatives is essential to managing tourism in natural areas. So let's move on and let's get to business. I will now give the floor to Fabio Tat from Brabant Partners, who will describe what they're doing to monitor recreational pressure. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Fanny. I will share my screen and please confirm if it's working now.
Still loading? Yes, we got there. Perfect.
Okay, well, really great to see all of you. Also on behalf of the MONA team, really great to have you all in this webinar. In the next coming 15 minutes, I will tell you something more about the way we are spreading recreational flows and the way we are monitoring this. But before I dive into this monitoring system, I think it's good to tell you something more about the MONA project and also about the projects we are implementing in the province of North Brabant. Because this gives you a better understanding of the reasons why we are monitoring what we are monitoring. My name is Fabio Tat. I work for Brabant Partners. Brabant Partners, a destination management organization for the province of North Brabant, located in the south of the Netherlands. Maybe all of you know it, and otherwise you really should visit the province once. Please don't do that in nature because that's too crowded, our nature areas. Now that's a bit of a joke, but if you open the newspapers here in the province of Brabant, then you often see these kinds of articles with quotes like, "It's too busy in nature areas, please go visit another area." And this is becoming more and more of a problem due to several developments. What we see, for example, is an increase of interest in nature areas, and especially hiking is by far the most popular activity, but also other recreational activities are being done in these nature areas, like horse riding, cycling, mountain biking, but also, for example, dog walking services, boot camp clubs. Everybody wants to make use of the same space. Space that is becoming increasingly scarce due to housing project, infrastructural project. Our defense organization wants to practice in nature areas. This is becoming more and more of a problem. And then also the city-country connection is far from optimal. So in the province of North Brabant, all of the people are getting to nature areas by car, leading to negative impacts for the residents living there, but also for the nature itself. So that's why we started the MONA project with one main goal, which is reducing recreational pressure on nature while making it better accessible and reachable. This looks a contradiction, but we believe that in this contradiction lies the solution. We started with this cooperation. So several national parks in the Netherlands, Utrechtse Heuvelrug, Veluwezoom, Grenspark Kalmthoutse Heide and Van Gogh National Park. 2 French parks, Parc Scarpe-Escaut and Montagne de Reims. And then 2 regions, the province of Antwerp and Saarland. They encounter all the same problems. And that's why we work with them to see if we can spread visitors flows and pressure in a better way. And together we work on three main topics, which are model shift, routing and starting points, and nudging solutions. And this combined, we hope, we believe, and that this will relieve the pressure on nature areas. Back to Brabant, what we see in Brabant, I mentioned it before, but hiking is the most popular activity. We see 70 million hikes each year in the province of North Brabant, mostly done by locals, so the residents, and 90% with a recreational intention. And this means that a hike typically is no longer than 10 kilometers. It's near a village or in a nature area. It should be accessible within a 30-minute drive, and most important for the recreational hiker, it is an ad hoc decision. So there's no prior planning. Usually, it's a Sunday at breakfast where you think, okay, what are we going to do this day? Oh, let's do a hike, and then you go to a place because you're not planning anything in advance. You're going to the place because you know what to expect over there. And also in research, this is stated that people base their choice not on a route structure but on a starting point. And if you plot these characteristics on a map, this is Brabant, and then you see in the middle of the screen Tilburg. This is a city in the center of Brabant. 30-minute drive, then you are in the Loon Centrumse Duinen, which is also a national park, but one of the most famous nature areas in the province of North Brabant. And also in these purple dots, you see, famous nature areas. These are, the nature areas everybody goes to because they know what to expect over there. And it's strange because if you are for 30 minutes in your car, then you pass by a lot of starting points where you can go to because you can start a hike over there, but they are just not known. And that's why we worked last couple of months on developing a starting point map. We launched this on the 1st of April, and what you see here are 200 starting points in our province where you can go to unprepared. That's the promise we make to the recreational hiker. You can find here a parking place, routing information on the start side, and signed routing on for routes no more than 10 kilometers because people don't walk more than 10 kilometers, especially the recreational hiker. So you can go here unprepared, and really this is just the first step for us in trying to spread visitor flows and spread people to another location and making them aware of other starting points. But this starting point map is also an approach where we work on a desired situation, because what we want to create are regions, to develop regions where you want more recreational pressure and regions where you want less recreational pressure by downgrading or upgrading starting points and route structures. So we have this approach on four main topics: area-based approach, projects, and nudging. But at the moment, I will dive into the monitoring because we really want to see if the projects we are working on have their effect. Are we managing these recreational flows, and are we getting people to other areas? And that's why we really need to know how busy it is in an area at the moment and how this develops over the coming years. So we are monitoring in the Loon Centrumse Duinen. This is our pilot area, and it looks a bit like this. It's the biggest sandy area in the northwest of Europe, but it also looks like this. So it's really a popular area where people like to recreate and do a hike. And what we have done is we defined 15 areas where we want to monitor. And this is, that's what you see on this screen. On the upper part, you see the Loon Centrumse Duinen, maybe better here in the yellow part. This is the nature area. that's where we want to relieve recreational pressure. And in the green areas, Huis ter Heide and Pauwels, that's where these are regions that we are developing as a recreational area, and here we can host more recreational pressure. So what we want to see over the coming years is to see a rise in visitors in these areas, and the degrees of visitors in the Loon Centrumse Duinen. So we have this dashboard, and based on GPS data, we can see how crowded it is per hour, per day, per week, per year. We can see where people come from. We can see the cross visits. We can really see a lot. And then some first findings in this pilot area. We started this year, but we can go back somewhat in the time. We can go back, I think, for 4 years back in time, but this cost a lot. So we bought the data from September 24. So for now, we have 8 months of data in the system. What we see is that there were 2 million visits in this nature area, of which 60% are unique visitors. So 40% is coming there 2 or 3 times a day because they are walking there with their dog, or they are passing by with a bicycle. 20% of the total visits occurs on Sundays. That's all, and then also between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. So really that's the busiest day. The other days it's also a bit busy, but it's more spread. Average duration of stay 70% up to 1 hour, 45% up to 30 minutes. So here you can already see that people are getting to a starting point, they have a drink and do a small walk in that area. So they are not staying there quite long. And then what we also see is that 75% stay at the edge of the nature area or near the starting point, and only 3% is reaching the most vulnerable part of the Loon Centrumse Duinen. So now we can have not a discussion, but a talk with the nature organization of that area. Okay, how big is the problem? Is 3%, is that much, or is it can we have more people there? We have a discussion about that. Here you see it on your screen. It's a bit small, but the red arrow, de Rust en de Jager, that's a starting point to the vulnerable nature area. Then you see that 1.2% is getting from that starting point to that vulnerable area. So it's not really that much. So you can have a discussion on how big the problem is in that area. Well, these are some snapshots about what we see in the dashboard. The visits, and next to it, the unique visitors per month. So that's really good to see. We can see it per day. So the big line is the 1st of January. Then in the Netherlands, everybody is getting to a nature area. So then you see a peak moment for that. You can also see it during the day. So you see peak moments at 11 o'clock in the morning and 3 p.m. in the afternoon. These are moments when it's when there's a peak over the day, and you see a pattern in that. You see it mostly every day, and that's really good information, because if you want to forecast something, or if you need to make measures or implement projects for this, then you see when it's crowded. You can also put every defined area next to each other, so you can see what is the most crowded area over the days and over the months. Some other findings. Where do people come from? Well, mostly at our residents near the nature area that visit that area, but also in the top 10 of visitors are cities of Rotterdam and The Hague. Cities in the Netherlands, which are not that far away, but away 1 hour drive away. And it's good to have an understanding about that, because if we want to nudge people or do some campaigns to make people aware of other nature areas, then we know where we should implement these campaigns. Warmer temperatures lead to more visits, up to 28 degrees. If it's getting hotter, then people tend to do something else. And also good to know when it's freezing, then there's also an increase of people. So we can add weather forecast and data to the screen, so we can also see how weather influences the choices of people. And then we also see that seasonal influence has little effect. So summer or autumn, it's quite the same. But holidays and public days really, they have an effect on visiting nature areas. There's a double of visits in that. So all important information for us to know. But this is how we see it in our dashboard. So where people come from. And then you see that it are mostly the residents near the Loonsendruinse Duinen that are visiting this area. What we are also doing is adding other data sources in our dashboard. This is cycling data, and what you see here on the screen is the willingness of people on an electric bike to drive 30 minutes to a nature area. So here you see, for example, the station of Tilburg, a city in Brabant, 30-minute drive with the e-bike. Okay, then less. Am I still in the?
Yes, everything is good.
Oh, I thought I was out of the webinar. So I
No,
continue.
no.
Okay, then less than 40% is willing to drive 30 minutes on an e-bike. So here we can see that, it really isn't useful to do a project to stimulate people to go on an e-bike to the Loonsendruinse Duinen because people are not willing to. So important data for us. Other data, how busy it is and which cycle paths are being used in the cities, and also the width of cycle paths in the cities. At the moment we have this data and we are figuring out also how to use it in a proper way because it is a lot to attach everything to each other. So that's why we have a data team that is developing at the moment research questions. These are the questions and the research questions we want to be answered in the coming years. Most important lesson at the moment for us is that you really need this data team because you can have a dashboard with a lot of information in it, but you really have to work on this. When you have data and information, it raises new questions. So you really have to keep focus. And with the data team, you can do this. And it's also good to have good interpretation of the data. That's why we work with the University of Leuven and the University in Breda to really interpret all the data and information. And that's important because I have another opinion or interpretation of data than, for example, a nature organization or another marketing organization. So that's why it's good to have this team working on the information and data. So that's what we have implemented. That was everything from my side.
Great, thank you very much. We have a couple of questions. So one is about the very first thing you mentioned is how do you evaluate the number of like 70 million hikes in North Brabant?
Yeah, that's research that we have conducted already 2 or 3 years ago. It's national data. It's our research questions in the field, and then based on that we can calculate this.
Okay, interesting. Then there's one about the GPS data. Do they have to download a specific app or what and how are you tracking?
Yes, well, we know that all the people, they have their phone with them, and usually everybody has an app on that telephone on which they allow to share data. For example, if you have a weather app on it or a navigation app, then your location, you should confirm that you yeah, that you allow to share data.
Okay.
And in the little things you allow is that you share data with the data company, which
Mhm.
collects this data, and then that's what we buy from them. So yeah, if you have an app on your phone in which you said that you want to, it's allowed to use data, then we can use that data.
Okay, perfect. There's a third question from Jérôme. I hope I'm saying that name right. But I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to mean because it says how to change the camera view. Perhaps, I don't know if you understand it. Perhaps if he is here or they're here, perhaps they want to say something about it. No, otherwise I give the possibility to just answer or give more information. So in case we can go a bit more in depth. But I think we'll move on, and if something else comes up, we will let you know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So now we'll go to the next presentation about accessible tourism with a couple of projects. I will let Christina introduce herself to make sure I do not butcher her name. So the floor is yours. Thank you very much. You're muted.
Sorry. Hello.
Way better.
Thank you, Fanny, for introducing me. I am Cristina, and I am coming from Romania, and I will share with you some information about what we are doing at Accessible Romania by Sano Touring, which is a travel agency, a tour company that I founded in 2014. But let's start by introducing myself as a white woman with dark medium hair, and I'm wearing glasses and a dark blouse. So I will invite you for a while in Romania to join me to see some things we are doing here in Romania. I will start with a short history of our company. We started operation in September 2015 under the brand of Sano Touring. 1 year later, we became ENAT members. For 5 years later, in June 2021, to rebrand as Accessible Romania by Sano Touring and get a new website, accessibleromania.com. So why Romania? And what can one do in Romania in terms of accessible tourism, but also on sustainable tourism? You may know that Romania is having 1/3 of Europe's mineral, thermal, and saltwater springs. And they are exploited in over 70 spa or medical rehabilitation centers in a real sustainable manner. In the picture, you can see a person in a black person because of the mud, sapropelic mud he is using to from the lake, natural resource, of course. But this sapropelic mud is also used in for therapies such as balneotherapies, mud therapies, hydrotherapies in medical centers or in spa, which are equipped with filtering systems and tools that help return the mud into its natural setting, so it can it's actually a circular tourism and circular part of this therapy kind of therapy. In the other picture, you'll see there is a salt mine. It has been modernized. It's one old salt mine, undocumented since the Roman times, in Castrum, near the Castrum, called Potaissa. And the first documentary, it's around a document mentioning the exploitation of the salt here. It's around 2,100 years. 1200 years. So now it has been restored, it's been equipped, and it's now a veritable underground amusement park, where also therapies and a lot of other means to exploit the salt environment. What else we are developing here in Romania is exploiting the natural and rural experiences. They are actually part of our accessible tourist packages, together with nature-based therapies, because people are interested in seeing our traditions, which are really well kept, preserved. We are one of the few European countries that managed to well preserve their our traditions. And this is exactly what we have been exploited in this Erasmus project, Green for Care, which has a long name, Alliance on Interdisciplinary Learning and Entrepreneurial Skills in Green for Health and Social Inclusion. What we brought to this project, we had been invited to discuss about, we have actually been a study case to show how we managed to do tourism, accessible tourism, which means equipment, special equipment, and special settings for allowing the persons, especially the persons, wheelchair users, to participate. So how we manage to preserve and respect nature and local traditions, but in the meantime, how we educate tourist operators to become more inclusive and accessible. Actually, what we shared with in this project, and it's part of our experience as an accessible tourism operator in a country where accessibility is not very widespread. All our locations, every location we are including in our tours, we visited together with persons with disabilities. Our partners from an NGO created an app that supports us in assessing the accessibility elements of the buildings, of the facilities we are visiting, whether hotels or museums or restaurants or toilets on the road. And each time we are doing this, we are actually doing informal training with the managers and with the staff that are serving and are working in that facility, in order to make them aware on disability, on communication, and on the need to be more inclusive and accessible. In the picture here, in the lower side, lower right side, there are some sequences from the rural museum, village museum in Bucharest. It's a setting that has been created in the beginning of the 20th century, and houses from all over the country have been relocated. Rural houses, traditional houses have been relocated here. So we have actually a very large rural setting in the middle of our capital city, Bucharest. And this is one of the main attractions in Bucharest. We also shared our experiences in another Erasmus Plus project, which is whose acronym is Access It. This project aimed to approach competence gaps of the SMEs tourism that act in natural and rural areas, because the project team noticed that there is a lack of awareness of access needs of their clients. And also, they show insufficient skills to develop, implement innovative and sustainable solutions that ultimately help them increase their market share by improving the availability of accessible facilities, and thus seizing the opportunities for accessible tourism. We have been invited to be part of the process to that fine-tuned the tools that have been developed in this project. And we were happy to have contributed to these tools that are still available online on the project website. It is a business support toolkit that includes web-based application, let's say, that somehow helps the self-assessment of the accessibility of the products and services in natural and rural areas, whether DMOs or simple villages or cities. And also there is a collection of booklets of mini guides that show good practices and success stories of the people that just like us that has been invited and to co-create this project and the tools that have been developed. Last but not least, I'm very happy to share with you another project. We are partners this time. It's WeNatur project. It's an ongoing project. It's actually, we are in the middle of the project. This is a project where 12 partners from 5 countries aim to provide training and networking opportunities in order to shape the new professionals in sustainable tourism that will be able to find innovative solutions for both sustainable and responsible tourism. We are developing this e-learning course called Sustainable Tourism Course, Welfare, Nature and Innovation in Tourism, that ultimately will contribute to creating a new profession, that addresses the sustainable management of a tourist destination. So what all the partners contributed to co-creating this e-learning and approaching 4 pillars: sustainable tourism, nature for health and well-being, education and innovation, company welfare. We started in mid-April with 4 webinars addressing precisely these 4 pillars, summarizing somehow what we are going to address in our course. And Actually, on the 31st of May was the last day to enroll for the training, the actual training, the e-learning that is supported by the Moodle platform, by the University of Padua, who is the lead partner of this project. So what we our contribution as partners is the approach of accessible tourism and including accessible tourism as part of sustainability of a tourist destination. We cannot, in our opinion, we cannot speak about the sustainability of a tourist destination unless that destination is opened and welcome for everyone. So accessible tourism is a mandatory part to be addressed in the sustainability when analyzing the sustainability of a tourist destination. So what we were doing, we have, so this was how inclusive can tourists become, how can tourists become more inclusive, was the webinar that introduced the accessibility and the inclusion of a tourist destination. And then we have 3 interventions in 3 courses, 3 modules actually. We give some overview on accessible tourism, starting with defining universal design and the inclusive approach, and the accessibility, giving the basic notions and of accessibility, what it means and how it is done. And then on another lesson, we're going more in depth on what accessible and inclusive tourism means, addressing also the social and the economic aspects of accessible tourism, because the large number of persons with disabilities and all the statistics by the UNTO and all the major data providers show that not only the number of persons with disabilities is increasing, but the population is getting older, and with that impairments are coming. So the accessible tourism market is growing and needs to be addressed properly. And last but not least, our intervention in this e-learning course addresses precisely what we have talked before, the nature-based therapies and showing how our resources, natural resources, are exploited. And part of this section is to present one of the spa centers, medical rehabilitation centers in the Black Sea, that exploits fully not only the sapropelic mud, but also the entire natural environment and the sea, together with modern techniques and for rejuvenation and combining medical, spa, and well-being, let's say, procedures for improving the quality of lives. And what else? Last but not least, what the Minatur project is bringing is the first global network on sustainable tourist destination management. We aim to create a pool of resources of professionals, because this e-learning is not addressing students only, whether also part of a large part of our project partners are universities and vet centers. So of course, one of the target groups that for our course are students, but also tourist professionals working in DMOs or interested in getting more information, or maybe getting certified in sustainable tourism. So I take this opportunity to visit our website and to join the We Natura Alliance, because we are complementary and we should work together and know better each other, and what are the resources we can put together and for a better approach of sustainable tourism. Thank you so much. And please let me know if we can do anything, and we can be of your assistance.
Great. Thank you very much. That was very interesting, also with a lot of resources, and interesting to see how much you've been doing. You mentioned at the beginning that not a lot of places were actually accessible. Do you have the feeling that this is now really changing? Do you see like this at the beginning, if they create a museum or if some places are revisited, that this is something they start to think about from the start? Or do you feel like this is still like an ongoing process?
Honestly, it's an ongoing process.
Okay.
It's quite difficult to make accessible an old setting, especially historical building. We all know that. But I'm happy to see that efforts are made and growing every day, and then interest is growing. I'm happy to see that finally they introduced an universal design section at the architecture and urban planning university here in Bucharest. It's an optional module, but it is there, and students are really happy to join. We discussed with the teacher that from there, and she what she presented us, and the enthusiasm of the students. Really, it was really very interesting to see that. And also there are a lot of initiatives of NGOs, especially of the NGOs, whether of persons with disabilities or not. But things are moving from inclusive shows to 3D models, 3D tactile models, to platforms that use NFCs and AI to deliver content in multilingual setting. Things are moving on.
Yes, great. Thank you very much. This is encouraging. We have someone who raised their hand, so I will give you the floor.
Please, thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's see, Verle, I don't know. You should be able to talk. Let's see. Okay, that doesn't seem to work. Otherwise, I will invite you to write into the chat, so we can still get your question. No, unfortunately. That didn't work. But I will make sure, like, Verle Kops, if you have a question, to please write it into a chat. And we have another question to the first presentation. So Fabio, I would ask you to quickly pick it up. Thank you very much, Christina.
Thank you.
So the question was, apart from the GPS crowd data, you also worked on the starting point map. Is there a plan to integrate the crowd data into the starting point map in the future?
Yes. Well, at the moment, we're monitoring different starting points. Yeah, how busy it is over there. These are the starting points next to the Loan Center in Sabine. And these are also starting points which are on the starting point map. At the moment, we are using this information for ourselves and for the nature organization on the background to see what happens. And then, okay, for the future, we can see whether we want to use this data also as a forecast for the recreational hiker, so that they can see how crowded it is at the moment at the starting point, or how crowded it will be. Yeah, and then we can also show that on the starting point. So that's when we are also integrating it for the recreational hiker. But really, that's something for the future and also to be discussed if we want that. It should really, yeah, if it helps our goal to spread visitor flows, then we should certainly do it. But at the moment, we are just using the data for ourselves at the background.
Great, thank you very much. Then, given the time, we will move on. We have the next presentation on the development of accessible tourism routes by Aiga. I hope I say this right, and I will let you, I'll give you the floor. Thank you very much.
So, hello. So the question is if you see the presentation in the presentation mode or not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's always happens. So I will start once more.
Don't worry.
By some reason, it doesn't want to work.
Worst case, we leave it without the presentation mode, but let's give it a try.
Yeah, that's strange because it worked nicely before that.
The ways of Zoom are
Yeah,
not always clear.
I see. Sorry. Is it no or not?
No, still.
Yeah, I see. I'll check another way. Expect. So screen. Okay, this one. Maybe this will be. It's not still, yeah? I cannot find the.
No, but otherwise, yes, my colleague is just offering that, but otherwise we can share the presentation.
Yeah,
even though,
it
perfect.
is. Yes. I know that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello, everybody, and greetings from Latvia, from the east and north as well. So my name is Aiga Mary, and I represent Kurzeme planning region, which is one of 5 regions in Latvia. And I'm going to tell you about what we are doing towards accessible tourism, since we are having already these initiatives starting the 2017. And we have had already 7 projects, or right now 5 projects are running towards this, and they're covering various aspects of the tourism sector: accessibility in farm and railways, accessibility in garden pearls, so making them more accessible, those nice gardens for people with various disabilities, accessible long distance hiking trails, and accessible shorter routes, and even accessible water tourism. And today I will tell about one Interreg Estonia-Latvia program, which is access routes, and the project main aim or target is to actually connect accessible tourism destinations into one chain and offer shorter or longer 1 to 3 day routes in Latvia and Estonia. Here I also want to mention that actually Interreg Estonia-Latvia for this planning period, which is now running, decided to have one separate priority for the tourism, and specifically only to work for the tourism with these accessibility issues. So you cannot just do some tourism project developing some routes or products, but you specifically only focus on the on the accessibility things and various type, let it be it's visual, hearing, or cognitive or movement impairment. So only these type of projects have been approved. So this was, I think, very, very wise and strategic decision of the program to really encourage tourism sector to think towards accessibility, and even so also providing the funding for that. This project, Access Routes, the main focus for that is towards following directions. First of all, we do have already a nice information source. It is a website, mapperons.eu, which provide information about the accessible places in all 3 Baltic countries, in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. So we continue to work with this website as the really unique pool of information for all people who are looking for the trips, shorter or longer, so they would know exactly what to expect on some resting area or some guest house or in some shop. What are the features of the site? Will it be possible for them to use it? And so recognize that there are a lot of spots which are already accessible, and there is actually need to connect them somehow between. So in order to provide this one full day or 2 or 3 days, and here we are connecting together accessible hotel with accessible nature trail with accessible resting area, etc. So this is somehow helps for people actually to find where to go and not to think a lot, but already have this first information. And then the website also offers the guidance for those who are developing sites and objects in tourism. There are already developed guidelines for the nature trails and for the culture sites as well, with the easy to read, illustrative, and practical materials how to actually ensure this accessibility, because in sometimes it's we do have this stereotype that this is expensive to ensure the accessibility, but in most cases it's not. It really requires sometimes some creativity. Sometimes it's a really like small thing to add to the existing path, and it is already accessible. So, and these guidelines are accessible also on the English language, because it's mainly developed with the Interreg program. So you are welcome to check the website and then also use these materials if you find them useful. So then next about the spots. So this is about this accessibility guidelines. So really to give the easy to follow the requirements. So about the project investment sites. So there are 2 countries, of course, as for Interreg, Estonia and Latvia, and then we do have 12 in Latvia, 5 in our region and 7 neighboring region, and we do have 9 spots in Estonia. And what are those investments with which we are working? So our focus on this project is actually to develop solutions for the people with the visual impairments. So that means that we are working a lot with tactile solutions, with audio solutions, but also with infrastructure improvement for people with movement impairments, a lot of cue cards and marking. And let me introduce few of the objects and solutions which we are now already finished, and as well which those still are ongoing. So one of the places is Saldus, which is a small town in our region, roughly 10,000 inhabitants. And there is a famous Latvian painter used to live already in the past, Jānis Rozentals. And here you can see one solution where the people from the painting are brought to the exact same church. So, and people with the eyesight problems may actually touch and feel how the persons in the painting look like, and how large they are and how they are dressed. That is one solution which is found. Then next one is in the same Saldus Museum. There is as well one painting of this of the painter. And here we have tried to use and test several methods how to show and how to describe and how to let know for visitors with visual impairment. One way is this 3D tactile painting. You can see on the right side where this picture is in a tactile way. Next to that, there is a braille description, so that basically people also can read through the braille. Then next in the middle, the picture that is on a capsule paper with the gum ink, which helps and allows very tiny details to put on this paper, so as face and as hair you can see. So basically the lady's face, and here the head is taken in a more zoom for people to let it try and try to understand how would the picture would look like. And the last way how to actually show what is on the picture and how the lady is dressed is the small doll, which has the same small flowers on a dress, so you can touch them, and also the hair. So this is several ways how we tried to show the one picture for people with the eyesight problems. So, and then next way of interpretation is also the same town of Saldus. Actually, for first time in Latvia, paintings go outdoors, and here again in several spots in the city, and the spots are chosen exactly the same where this famous painter was used to paint these pictures. And again here you can see that you can try to touch the picture, but moreover there is also audio description for the picture, so it is described what you can see on the picture, and that is also in English and Latvian languages. So if we move on, then here you can see another two pictures. How does it look in a city environment? The next spot is Usma Lake, which is one of the biggest lakes in our region, and here we have again several solutions with as well tactile solutions for the people again with the eyesight problems. One here are 8 tactile fishes. They are done in a 3D technology. And actually to make it, the laboratory requested the fish itself in order the 3D equipment could draw it. It was also interesting process by doing that. So, and walking by trail, you can again go and touch and feel all the small and tiny details of the fish, and all these fishes, of course, are living in the lake. Then next is map layout of the lake. Lake has also 7 islands, so you can actually try to touch also each and every small island, and then get to know it. And recently, it was like a few weeks ago, we put this binocular, which has very perfect zoom, and you can zoom in the island, which is actually prohibited for the visits at all. Only the nature protected rangers may go there, but no step of human being can be put on the island just from side. And it is, of course, interesting for people to see what is on the island, and this binocular also helps in a nature interpretation. So, and if we move on, then there is another lake which is nearby our port city, Ventspils. And this lake already has nice features of the accessibility. There is all around nice paths, which is accessible to go around with strolls. But more than that, there is also accessible resting area built up, and accessible beach spot with these special floating wheelchairs. So during the summertime, so people also can enjoy the swimming and summer. And nearby here, we focused on the birds. If in Nosma there was the fishes, then here again, various type and species of the birds which are nesting around the lake. And those are maquettes you can see on the right side, as well on a stand, the tactile way of the stands, plus the bird song you can hear if you scan the QR code. So this was also the way how we try to interpret it and let people know the nature features. Then another small
Just
town in
quickly,
yeah.
We have 1 more minute.
Okay, yeah, and
Thank
another
you.
small town, also the same as plants in tactile way. And here also Christina mentioned it, and here we have these QR codes with NFC, so people are coming, scanning, and hear the description of the plant. This is still in process in Grobiņa maquette. And in the project, we also had a nice activity hackathon, during which actually we start with the help of that. We're now starting to do this museum's adventure in a small magic box. So in order to interpret and tell the history through the small items which you can touch and feel and take in your hands. And last but not least, all these activities we are always doing together with the representatives of NGOs of disabilities. So that means that they always know the best how to do what works for them, what not. So this is the main principles, and now we are even good friends with our colleagues from NGO Aperons. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Sorry for the rush. It's just that our next speaker, Agathe Dodibon from Eurovelo, needs to leave at 11:30. So we'll quickly ask her to present, and then if there's some questions, we'll go back to you. Thank you very much. So
Thank you.
Agathe, if you're ready, we'll give you the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the introduction. I will try to share my slides and hope that it will work well. Thank you very much for inviting ECF to present our work, what we do on inclusive and sustainable cycling tourism and cycle routes. Now you should see my slides properly. Does it work well?
It's still loading, but
okay.
Yes, now we do see your slides.
Now it works. Okay, perfect. So I will try to be brief and to present some projects we are working on. Just a short introduction. I'm working for ECF, the European Cyclists Federation. We are the voice of civil society on cycling in Europe. And I work more specifically on Eurovelo, the European Cycle Route Network. This network, you see it on the map on that slide. It started back 28 years ago. It covers 38 countries, 17 routes, more than 90,000 kilometers in total. Not all of it is completed yet. Eurovelo aims to be the backbone for national cycle route networks, but also in terms of transport, but also in terms of tourism. It is a truly branded Europe product, and we do a lot of work connected to that, including a methodology to assess the quality of long-distance cycle routes. So that's just a short introduction of where I speak from, and just to introduce some of the work we do on sustainable tourism and mobility in rural areas. We are involved in two main European projects that are relevant for this webinar. The first one is ICTRCE, Innovative Participatory Sustainable Business Model for Cycling Along the Iron Curtain Trail, which is the Eurovelo 13. The second project is Cycle Rights, improving cycling policies with a focus on climate resiliency, accessibility, and safety. But we do have other discussions also on accessible cycle tourism and also sustainable tourism, so I will mention it very briefly. Just this focus on ICTRCE, so this Central Europe Interact project, it started back in 2023. It runs until 2026. It involves 12 partners in 9 different countries, from Poland to Croatia, with a budget of over 2 million euro, and the lead partner is Westpanon from Hungary. You can find more information online on these projects. The main focus and the main interest of this project is about sustainability, but also how to make business models of cycling tourism sustainable, including developing sustainable tourism offers in rural areas, remote areas, where there is a lack of services, for example. So there is a strong focus on collaboration with the small and medium enterprises to increase skills, but also awareness on cycling tourism to stimulate rural and urban collaboration in a cross-border transnational approach. So there is a very strong focus on training and mentoring programs, but also the idea to develop a cooperation framework for sustainability and transferability of the project results. Just one short focus, footprint calculator. There was a reflection within the working group, within the partners, to about assessing the socio-economic and environmental impacts of the tourism sector, and especially cycling tourism sector, but also to develop and test an impact measurement system. So to agree on measurement aspects of the impact of cycling tourism, so that it could be integrated into an offsetting program, so the good impact program also envisioned within the project. And all the solutions developed within ICTRCE aim to be transferable to other Eurovelo routes, but also other cycle routes in general. It's a very pragmatic approach, so there has been within this, all the partners, there has been 3 pilot areas identified, one in Poland, Germany, the other one, the central pilot area between Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Austria, and the last one between Hungary and Croatia. So those pilot areas aimed at developing ready-to-book offers involving different service providers, but also making sure that the route exists and is of high quality and is marketed kind of and ready to market, with this idea of having proper sustainable offers to present to the clients. Very briefly, short results after 2 years of project. There has been a comprehensive survey for service providers launched in all countries to identify the needs and digital competencies in particular. Ongoing reflections around the framework of a business model was developed. The backbone of the tourism product was developed as well. So for the 3 pilot areas I was mentioning earlier, the carbon footprint calculator has been set up, including also the impact measurement system. Trainings have been organized. Explorer tours on each of the pilot areas happened last year. And there is a work ongoing about sustainability and transferability plan, the STP, but also the ICTR Alliance, so this governance model around the example of Eurovelo route partnerships, so a system established by within Eurovelo. So yeah, a lot going on. Very interesting initiative, very much tourism oriented. So I don't know if that echoes any of the work you've been discussing and tackling also with the MONA project. And very happy also to consider more transferability and mutual support between different European projects within ICTR. So yeah, I just cut it short here. And there's too many slides, sorry for that, because I think it's more relevant to share. If you have any questions regarding ICT or CE, please contact Mate from Westpanon. He will be very happy to answer any of your questions. There's also a lot of information online, and I think there's a lot of potential for synergies around sustainability within that this project. I'm missing some slides. Sorry. Yeah, I will have to switch to play with my slides. I wanted to focus now on Psychoright, Interreg Europe project. The lead partner is again Westpanon, easy for connections, even though it's not Mate leading on this one, but so from Hungary, we work very well with Westpanon. The goal of this project is to improve a set of policy instruments targeting sustainable urban mobility for a zero carbon economy. So here it's very much more focusing on policy instruments, policy strategies, guidelines, etc. The focus is on sharing good practices and knowledge on climate resilience, accessible and safe cycling infrastructure. So I see very much a lot of connections also with your work here. The budget is over 2 million euro as well, running from 2024 until 2028, involving 11 different partners. There's a bit of overlap also in terms of partners here, including a partner from Latvia, the Latvian Greenways Association. And there's a strong focus on accessible cycling tourism in Latvia, a couple of activities going on as far as I know. So very interesting also, it's a topic we are keeping an eye on as well. What else? There is just mentioning that there are a lot of reflections around resilient cycling infrastructure, resilient to climate risks, because there's many long distance cycle routes, especially along waterways. What about floods? What about sustainable and environmental efficient cycling infrastructure that will not be damaged by floods, but that will also prevent future climate risks? There's also more and more heat waves during the high season, how to manage the needs, how to cater the needs of cycling tourists during those periods. So a lot of reflections around that in terms of resilient environmentally cycling infrastructure, but also on accessibility of cycle routes. So I just go back to this slide that is not placed properly to mention that we will have discussions about accessible cycle routes during Velocity Gdansk happening next week in Poland. A very interesting session with examples from Poland, from Belgium and from the UK about how to develop accessible cycle routes for disabled cyclists and other diverse user groups. So keep an eye on it. That's very relevant in my opinion. There will be also a session on the same on the Tuesday, the 10th of June, about unlocking cycling as a mode of transport in rural areas. So it's also something we keep a close, keep an eye on. And another event that we organize at ECF, the Eurovelo and Cycling Tourism Conference, happening in September in Hungary, in Balatonfüred. The program has been published since I prepared that slide yesterday, very last minute update. And we will have a session about climate risks and solutions for spreading flows and address over-tourism, but also a session about inclusive cycling tourism. So this event seems very much relevant also for the partners gathered today. I just wanted to mention this very short focus on Eurovelo and rural areas, because we have a partnership with the company EcoCounter for a couple of years. EcoCounter is providing systems for automatic counting solutions of cycle route, but also pedestrians. And we do have a partnership with them to collect data of those automatic counters placed along Eurovelo routes everywhere in Europe. We have a sample of around 500 counters at the moment, covering 20 countries. So it's quite a good representativity already. And this year, for the first time, in the last edition of the report published in April, we've been trying to compare the trends between rural counters, so counters placed in rural areas, suburban and urban. You see on the graph on the slide here that, of course, the volume of bike counts differ a lot from urban context to rural context, but we still think that it's very relevant to know that the average number of counts per year on a cycling counter placed on Eurovelo, it can be in very remote areas. It's still 44,000 counts. So the volume is quite interesting, including a lot of local usage, of course, but it's quite relevant to mention. So that was just the last mention before inviting you all to the Eurovelo and Cycling Tourism Conference, and I'm happy to answer any question. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much. Let me see if there are any questions. Seem to have been very clear so far, so hopefully you'll see some of the participants today also at some of the events. Yeah, I don't know if Marco wanted to add something. Let's see. So good, then I will continue because this was the last webinar in the first year cycle. So as I said, we have 3 webinars per cycle and then a physical event. So this was the end of the first one. We'll have a second one with the start of next of September, and we'll have a next training event starting October. So thank you very much for all of you joining. I mean, Fabio Tat shared really interesting insights on how to monitor visitor numbers and manage the visitor flow more effectively. Christina showed us how sustainability and accessibility are closely connected and they have to be considered together. And Aga reminded us that improving accessibility also doesn't necessarily require more funding, but a lot of creativity. And Aga de Libon also gave us now a lot of input on the cycling tourism and also events on where we could move forward. And there were a lot of tools that were shared, which is really great. And I think also for us and the Mona project, this is going to be really helpful. So don't be surprised if you hear from us again. So I would like to thank you very much and hopefully see you in the next cycle. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.